Hello and welcome to Movie Theater Time Machine, the podcast where we keep it reel to reel and oh god, not the bees! Yeah, this,
Not even in the...
Yeah, it's not even in the bloody movies, like, for crying out loud. So yeah, this week...
And it's the best one!
I think it's deleted scenes, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. Because if he's super allergic, he'd be dead before even... Anyway,
Yeah.
we're cutting way ahead.
15 minutes, you have 15 minutes!
Yep, we are cutting way ahead here. So, yeah, Movie Theater Time Machine, we watched The Wicker Man. I'm Dan.
I'm Nick.
I'm Kaz.
I'm Joss.
And if you notice Kaz sounds a little bit different today, it's because work
I am a
stuff.
robot.
Yeah, work stuff. She had to come in kind of remote today. No big deal. So yeah, Wicker Man. Have you guys seen this before?
Yes.
Okay.
And I saw it after I saw the original 1973 one.
Yeah.
And apparently it's based on a novel or something?
It's based on a book.
Yeah.
This was a first time for Joss and I, and let's just say that both of us gave this more thought than the writers did.
Yeah,
Yes.
we were coming up with so much plot, and suddenly it's like, our plot was so much better.
There were so many. We had so many theories going, and it's just like, oh no, it's just okay.
Yeah.
Okay. Can you hear me okay now?
Yeah, we can hear you just fine.
Okay. Now I can hear you.
Yeah, there's a lot of weird different plots to this, and I think, like, if you watch... I remember when we originally watched this, we watched the 1973 British version, and then watched Nicolas Cage, and rumor has it that Nicolas Cage was one of the producers of the movie, but he did it with, but removed his name.
Okay.
From this.
I saw him.
I saw his name.
I saw him come up in the credits as a producer at the beginning when he's on the driving down the highway.
Oh, it did. Okay, so I think at that time I think it was, but I imagine what he did was he watched this the original movie, scene by scene, and went, "All right, let's do a little better than that."
It's like I can do this, but I can do it better.
In his mind, what is better is just baffling.
It's okay.
Yeah.
The way this movie starts.
Reimagining is what it is.
Yeah.
The way this movie starts, it almost feels like everybody's on Quaaludes.
Oh God,
Like,
yeah.
Everything is just so low energy.
Especially the woman whoever the actress is who's playing the mother of Rowan.
Oh God, yeah, she's high as balls through the whole goddamn thing.
I do not like her.
Yeah.
I know we're not supposed to in the end, but...
Yeah.
I had a very hard time giving a shit about anybody in this movie.
Yeah.
Yeah. Like,
what about have you seen the original at all?
No.
we looked up some stuff about the original, but we haven't watched it.
Did you by chance see that link I posted of the best moments of it?
I saw the link, but we didn't get a chance to watch it yet.
Because even just from those clips, you could see it's just a totally different movie.
Yeah. Yeah, like the one of the things in the original movie is that they carry over the fact that he's a policeman from a different area and he doesn't really have full...
He doesn't have any authority at all?
Yeah, at all, really.
Yeah, he's way out of his jurisdiction. He's 2 states away from where he has any kind of authority. And he's just running around screaming at people. It's just like, okay, policeman is an asshole, goes to a place where he's not welcome, continues to be an asshole. That's kind of the plot going on here.
But the original...
He did try to be courteous, but everyone was an asshole to him, so he had to
I didn't see him be courteous at all.
They're gaslighting him, and he just wants to find this kid before she gets killed or something.
Oh, he's being gaslit, and absolutely, I agree with you there, but I didn't see him be courteous at all. Like, his first interaction with everybody is, what's in the bag?
Yeah.
What's in that bag? Show me what's in that bag.
Show me what's in the bag. I am a police officer, and they're like, what's a police officer? And he immediately starts to... try to overpower them. He's not courteous at all to anyone. So my immediate reaction to him would have been like, douche.
Yeah.
Well, by the end, he's punching people. At the beginning, he's just kind of sternly asking some questions.
It's like, but again, he's coming into a place where he knows he doesn't belong, where he knows he's not welcome, and he's just copping it up.
And that's the difference with the original movie. You have a man who is very religious.
Yeah.
And it comes off right away. So at least he comes in, he flies in, he's asking for help, and then he explains what's going on.
Yeah. And
at least in the original, the towners kind of have a personality. Because there's a...
Oh, yeah. You can just see from the clips I posted, there's like this rollicking body song they're singing in the bar together. Everybody has a lot of life to them, and they seem like normal people and not like matriarchal, misandrous bee people, you know?
Yeah.
Bee people.
It was very culty. It came across as extremely culty, or at least what media like kind of...
Maybe I listen
goes through as a cult.
Yeah. Maybe I listen to too much true crime or something, but it's just like literally the second he steps on that island, and they all just kind of in unison kind of turn and look at him, just like, this is a cult.
Yep.
This is absolutely a fucking cult.
Yeah.
I feel like the change from the original movie, just like a weird old, just this weird pagan town thing, to some kind, the matriarchal bee people with their drone guys. I feel like it should try. You're looking for meaning, but doesn't seem to be any. It doesn't seem to be saying anything.
I went on like a wiki walk after I watched this because I knew I wasn't going to be able to watch the original movie in time. But I was like, I want to get a gist of what the original movie was about, so I did go on a wiki walk on it. I did some, reading on it. So I read this, basically the synopsis of it. I did a little bit on the book, and then I did the sequel, or the sort of sequel that came out. There's a sequel that came out in 2011, done by the same guy who wrote the book and the 73 movie. That's supposed to, it's a sort of sequel. I don't want to say it's the actual sequel, but it's done by the same guy. Principles are kind of the same there. It's supposed to be the pagan versus the Christian sort of thing. Christianity isn't really brought up in this movie.
In the original, it definitely is.
Yeah.
Because this one kind of is just, I don't know. I had with this particular movie, I'm not going to go into the other one because I didn't see it, but if we're doing like apples and oranges with this,
apples and bees.
And you know what? I understand the run away from the bee thing because I'm allergic to bees.
Yeah.
So the minute he killed one, I kind of cheered. Sorry. Yeah. I'm sorry, and I realize how good they are for the ecosystem, and I realize that there's been a big problem with bees, and I understand all of it.
We lose the bees,
we're fucked. I get it. I understand it. Keep them over there.
No, I get it too. I mean, when I was very young, I had a bee sting me right in the balls.
Oh,
so like,
I've been stung in the ass.
Yeah.
It's different, but I do understand.
But as a 4-year-old, a bee stings me in the balls, and having to like scream into what actually happened, and then my mom having to try to explain to me what just happened.
Oh God, I can't.
And just for like Dan just put his hands down on his lap and just adjusted a little.
Just readjusted. It's like no, the boys, no.
Yeah, it just It's like a very tiny kick
Sorry,
in the crotch.
I just imagine, do you have Homelander as a testicle? Sorry. Not sequitur.
Wow.
But there's a lot of like religious sense to this particular movie, but I mean,
not this version.
Yeah,
the people on the island are very religious, but like Nicolas Cage's character isn't.
They're religious in a weird sort of not really Celtic-y pagan sort of way, because they're coming up with their own shit, which is
it's more of a crunchy granola cult that actually sacrifices people.
And only if their harvest is bad.
Yeah.
And
I have to imagine everyone on that island smells like patchouli.
and having this elaborate scheme with
that play
and the
play
baby
was pretty cool.
It's like, what the fuck?
I'm sorry, that play was pretty cool. I thought that the actual like how we're gonna fuck with him mentally, the stages that they did, like, okay, we're in phase 1 is go get knocked up by this guy as a fail safe.
And then wait, what? How many years old was she?
That was a fail safe, so it looked like she was probably about 8.
Yep.
So
like
this was maybe
9,
7 or 8. So this was, I want to say this was a just in case. They probably, all the girls probably have a dad out there.
Yeah. I was like, how many others have gone out and have someone as a failsafe? And it seems like they aim at cops for whatever reason.
Because they can use the whole, you're a cop, I was in love with you once.
Yeah, I need help.
I need help.
Yeah, our kid is missing.
Our kid. Yeah. Well, first is my kid is missing, right. And then the play later on is our kid is missing.
Right.
If he does, that's later play.
I think I just figured something out. The mother, Willow, she's just kind of out of it for most of it.
Yeah.
I think she's just a really bad improv actor. And she keeps forgetting her lines, so she keeps fucking up and accidentally saying too much or too little, and he's just like, shit, what?
Yeah, she's the improv player that constantly says and.
Yep.
When you can only do, like, the game Three-Headed Doctor.
It's like, yes, and. It's like, sometimes you need to
Toast
have
and. Jelly and.
Butter.
And.
Every now and then you need someone to do the no but.
Yeah.
Instead of always being yes and.
No. You can't say no.
Yeah.
You should.
Improv, no.
Sometimes you need to.
You can't say no.
Yeah.
You never say no in improv. No is a no.
Improv sounds a bit problematic.
Yeah.
Good point.
If you say isn't the whole thing
some idiot comes up with that idea.
You say no, you die.
Yeah.
So when someone says no, you scream die.
Yeah.
Isn't that it? Isn't that part of it?
There is some game that has that. But it always is whatever your partner in the scene presents, you have to accept.
Yeah.
It's like when we were doing this years ago, we had I had a scene partner, his name was Zach, and we worked out some things. We knew the games we were going to play, and we worked out some characters just to be a little bit easier, but I knew he was going to fuck with me.
Yeah.
So he was going to play Robin Williams, and I was going to play, like, I think it was like Denzel Washington.
Okay.
Or something, or like whatever the heck it was, and as soon as I stepped foot on the stage, he said, "Hi, Julia Child." So, like,
you son of a bitch.
Just had to, like, I couldn't react to it, but just, react the right way. And this lady, you're right, is a really bad improv actor, and I really think, in general, you're right, Dan, she didn't even remember her lines.
Yeah. She's just like, I'm really bad at this, so I'm just gonna,
But she can cry on cue.
Yes.
Yeah.
She's really bad at it, but she can cry on cue. So she's
because her eyes, she's like a human chihuahua in this. Like I've seen the actress elsewhere, and she has normal human proportions, but in this she's like a human chihuahua where her eyes are just like existing free of the rest of her head. They're just kind of there. It's like 2 grapes taped to a lemon. It's ridiculous.
It's how I describe
Chino's offended.
Yeah.
That's racist against chihuahuas.
Yeah, he's perking his head up from the living room area like, what did you just say?
Because you called his name.
He just looking up like, excuse you, sir. It's like when I call Chino fat, and he looks at me, he goes like you have anything to say.
I don't know, it's just, I feel like if they were going for she feels conflicted about this, but then at the end she's just doing it again and seems more normal.
She seems more conflicted at the very end than anything else.
Honestly, the looks and the way the actress was okay. This is another one of those. This was a bad interpretation of this. Okay, if you're going for acting without saying anything, this is what not to do.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah,
okay, at the very end of this movie,
No.
because at the very end of this movie, the looks the actress was giving is not the. I don't think this is the tone that you were trying to go for. Because at the very end, she looks conflicted.
Right.
And I don't think you were trying to go for conflicted.
No.
Because I don't think she was supposed to be guilty at all or feeling guilty at all for what she did. The end of this movie is very much, is supposed to be a plot twist.
Yeah.
I didn't feel twisted.
I didn't feel twisted, but at the same time, I didn't really see it coming because, as we mentioned earlier, we put way more thought into this.
We put way more thought into this movie than we ever should have.
We had so many theories going,
and then none of them came through.
Because I was thinking, okay, so last year's harvest thing, the kid they sacrificed would have been Willow's kid, Rowan, right? Which throws me right off because I have a nephew named Rowan. So yes. I just kept picturing this little goober all the time whenever he yelled Rowan. But
yeah.
Okay, so it was last year's. So the kid's already. So what my theory was the kid was already dead.
Yeah.
And Willow broke because of it. She couldn't handle it.
That was one theory, anyway.
And, she couldn't handle it, so she tried to get him onto the island to figure things out.
Or to stop the next sacrifice or something like that.
And then we heard that their last harvest was the worst on record, and I'm thinking, what if Rowan wasn't a girl?
What if Rowan was a boy?
What if Willow had hidden the fact that Rowan was a boy the whole time?
Because we couldn't see any boy children running around on
Not
this
a single one.
Because there was an entire school full of girls, but there wasn't a single boy child that we saw on this.
Mm-hmm.
And
I just figured their education would be wasted on them.
Well,
because they're not allowed to talk, apparently.
Well, then there's also a discussion with what was her name?
Sister Rose?
Rose?
No, Maryisle, what the fuck?
Sister
Summerisle.
Sister Summerisle.
Yeah.
There's a discussion with Summerisle at one point where he asks, "Where are all the boys? What do you do with the boys?" And she says something very ambiguous, like
she doesn't.
They
really
have their purpose, or something.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm like, what if all these girls in these pictures? What if they're not girls? What if they're boys? And what if there's just sacrificing boys? And what if Rowan, because Rowan can be an ambiguous sort of name, what if Rowan was a boy? And that's where my brain started going. And then, of course, all of these plot threads that we start weaving go thrown out of fucking left field.
Because we find out that even the 8-year-old is evil.
Right.
Yeah. So sure, all right.
And I was like, God damn it, I like my plot better.
It's like, we clearly gave it more thought than the writers.
Yes.
I cannot remember any of the theories I had because I originally saw these so long ago, like in college. And that was over 10 years. Well, I don't remember.
It was ago.
Almost 20 years.
Yeah.
Yeah, I saw this years ago.
Yeah, I remember because we watched it together, and even if you watch the British version, which, by the way, was a tremendous flop.
Well, I can imagine.
But it's apparently critically acclaimed.
Yeah, it's a big cult classic.
They call it, as according to Wikipedia, they called it the Citizen Kane of horror movies. So I'm not so sure if that's a good thing or a bad thing.
They called it the Citizen... Okay, now...
Well, at least they didn't call it the Room of...
That's true.
Yeah.
I think I would be more, prone to it if they tried to call it The Room. As at least they understand.
Yeah.
But if somebody calls themselves the Citizen Kane of whatever, and they're not trying to be a comedy in that effect, I don't think that works.
You also have to remember, we're looking at it in a 2022 sort of way.
Yeah,
right.
We're not looking at it in a all-time movie classic sort of way. So.
I don't think this movie's getting a Criterion collection anytime soon.
I know.
So which one are we talking about now?
2006 is what I'm saying, because I haven't seen the original.
Oh, 2006 is... No, and...
I wish you could see some of the clips, just to get a sense of how different it is.
Oh, I'm going to watch the clips after this and be like, oh, yeah, no, I mean, the only good part that I kind of laughed at was Cage cold clocking,
in the bear suit?
No, before the bear suit.
Just punching Sister Beach right in the face.
Sister Beach in the face and knocking her ass out. I laughed at that.
Now one thing
the kind of person who would tie you to a bed and break your legs.
A little bit.
Yeah, we compared her to Misery pretty quickly.
Yeah.
One thing that bothered me about this movie is I had heard so many rumors before watching it. Like, I didn't know the plot twist because I just wasn't really interested until this month.
No.
I had heard so many different things about the absolute berserk nonsense, and I had heard at one point Nicolas Cage drop kicks an old woman while dressed in a bear suit, and he does not. And I am very disappointed. Somebody. Yeah, he punches a couple people while dressed as a bear, and okay, sure, but I wanted to see a drop kick.
He does not drop kick Sister Summerisle.
I am disappointed. Or those creepy, like, dead-eyed twins.
So she's dressed in fucking Gold Dust, but
she's half Gold Dust, half frickin' William Wallace. Like, she shows up at the end, and I'm like, freedom!
Oh, yeah, we said that, too.
You're making the William Wallace reference.
And in this corner, hailing from Summerisle, Gold Dust.
Christ almighty.
The clips I saw were a lot more atmospheric.
Yes.
Oh.
And
the people seem pretty, somewhat. The people seem pretty normal, sorta, except for their acting's dodgy, and also there's like a weird maypole thing, and then
the maypole phallic symbol.
Yeah, that thing. And well,
that's what they are. I mean.
Oh yeah, that's what they said right there. That's what the teacher's teaching the girls while the boys are outside touching the damn maypole, and then so that works a lot better than what they do in this remake,
right?
Because she explains about the fertility or something, that their religion and fertility cycle, whatever. Yeah. It represents the penis, which represents the creative force.
Well, from what I got from the Wikipedia thing, isn't that like one of the first thing he sees is that like there's a bunch of people having sex in the field?
Well, I haven't
the
seen
73 one, not the 2006 one.
Because in 2006 they just start talking about the mating house.
The mating house.
And you can sort of almost think that she said meeting house, but with an accent. But no, she said mating house.
Yeah. So
I was like, wait a minute. Things are getting a little culty right from the get-go. Like the 73? Like, is there more of a... since I haven't seen it, is there more of a kind of gradual tension increase in that one? Because in the 2006, it's like they were trying for tension. And they were trying for tension, and they got everyone sedated.
Yeah, it's...
And then Nicolas Cage started yelling. So
well, there is more tension, but it's more like, with like British entertainment tension.
Yeah, but they're good at it.
Yeah, that actually works.
A little easier and a little more tense and a little more tense. I found the ending of the first one a lot more creepy.
Really?
Okay.
Like at the end, we watched originally
praying and crying out to Jesus and stuff.
Like the ending of the original movie, Ed Woodward, who is in the Wicker Man, and he starts praying, and he's like, "I'm so sorry." Yeah. Starts saying it and forgiving. He's like, "Look, I'm going to die. Please forgive me," and tries to make right of the situation. And
from what I understand of it too, there are more things, more situations to fill.
Yeah.
When it comes to the whole Wicker Man thing.
Yeah.
What I had kind of wished is that they had, if there had been some sort of, some talk of the Wicker Man before the Wicker Man actually came.
Right. Well, that they relied very much on the new version of, like, you either knew the old version or you saw the movie poster.
Yeah.
Of, like, what it was. And you're right, it didn't explain it, but when we watched it, I think we rented it from Blockbuster. So, like, we rented the original.
That's a relic of a time past.
And, like, then immediately put in the DVD of the new version. And then you see this, instead of it, you just get Nicolas Cage screaming his ass off. Yeah. Which, in reality, like,
why is it burned? Why is it burned? Why is it burned?
Yeah, right, because it's fucking fire. the end of the first one, you feel really bad, and you're like, okay, I get it, and then the whole town just starts singing like a jolly song, and it's like it doesn't leave you very easy. And this version of it, I just laughed like hell, and I felt worse for the animals.
Right, I felt bad for the animals.
Like
right?
when you hear the goat
the
start.
animals both times, but
Yeah.
See, I saw the animals in the Wicker Man. I'm like, for at least a few seconds, that whole Wicker Man is going to smell amazing.
I gotta say, okay, I gotta make a joke about. So in this new movie, the island goddess, she really likes her barbecue. But why did you have to gaslight him? Does she prefer cooking her barbecue with gas? Is she Hank Hill?
We're doing our sacrifice with propane and propane accessories.
Oh.
That means you gotta gaslight him. Because I was distracted because I already knew the twist.
Yeah.
I knew the twist twice. So I was just wondering, why are they going through all this fucking trouble? That's what I was waiting for.
It's straight up a long con is what they're doing here.
From what I understand of it, and from what I got, after I looked up the original, when she says in this movie, the whole had to be a stranger that was connected to us, and the whole connected to by blood, that's the whole, that was the stipulation of the ritual working for them. Had to be a stranger, but a stranger that was connected, which is why, her daughter went out and got pregnant. I figured out the daughter thing way at the beginning.
I'm usually good at that kind of thing, aren't you?
Yeah. So, I even mentioned it to him. I was like, that's her daughter. I'm like, that's Summer Isle's daughter. I'm like, that's the reason why everybody kind of gives her the wide berth, but she doesn't get in trouble for anything she does. I'm like, that's Summer Isle's daughter. I'm like, easy, boom, done. Figured that shit out immediately.
I can't remember. In the original, was the cop and Willow have a pre-existing relationship?
Yes. Yeah, it's the same. It's the same setup, but yeah,
he's a virgin.
Yeah.
Which means he's
a virgin. Did you know that?
Which means he's just very gullible.
In the original, he's a virgin. It's one of the stipulations.
Yeah.
He's like, we have a daughter. Time out, what?
Yeah.
Did you seal his sperm like in?
I don't think it's his. It's not his daughter in the original. Yeah. That's part of the Wikipedia walk I went on. In this one, the whole it being a stranger that is related to them is because she had to go out to get pregnant by this guy, come back while she was pregnant, and that's why he's a stranger. He's a stranger to everybody else but Willow. But connected to the island because it's Rowan's dad.
Right.
How is
he in the original though?
In the original, the way it had to be, there were 4 stipulations. He had to go there of his own free will, which he did. They had called to ask about a missing child, but he went there on his own. Nobody forced him. He had to be a law of the king, which is he was a police officer and he was there from the British Crown. He had to be a virgin, and he had to be a fool, meaning he was gullible enough for them to fool him. And he
was dressed up as in the original movie.
Okay, well, as all of those fit, he was a perfect sacrifice for them in the original, and that's how. And him screaming the whole "it's not going to work" because, when next year everybody's going to assume this was stupid because it's not going to work. Him screaming that basically did nothing, because the movie ends.
And I think what happened when you have that sacrifice or you have this whole setup, I think what the setup is that, okay, we have somebody, if the harvest is really bad, then we send that letter out.
Yeah, we have our backup.
We have that, and then we go get the guy, and then the next year is good.
And it's like they probably have maybe a dozen backup plans out there. Because at the very end, we see that it's both Willow went back out, and so did Lily Sobieski.
Yeah.
So there's at least 2 that go out. There might be more at any given time.
I was so happy to see Lily Sobieski.
Yep. Can't remember her character's name. We just kept going, look, Lily Sobieski. Because it's just fun to say.
What is that? That's the one that was like...
the one that was originally like, can you please get me off the island?
Yeah,
and then she just
when you going to take me with you.
Yeah, like, where is she from? Because her face is so familiar.
You've seen the movie Deep Impact.
No.
I know her from Deep Impact. I know her from the Surge of the King. It was a really terrible movie that was based on a video game
Let's see.
had Jason Statham in it.
She was in Never Been Kissed. She was in Joyride.
She was in Deep Impact with Elijah Wood.
The Good Wife. Drop Dead Diva. Public Enemies? I don't know, I'm trying to find something. I said In the Name of the King. She was obviously in this one.
Yep.
With
Ray Liotta and Jason Statham. It's a terrible movie, and yet I still have watched it.
She was in at least an episode of Frasier at one point.
Oh god, she was a baby at that point.
2002.
She was not is not a A-list actress, but she has been in a lot of things.
Her face
she was in
is very
Eyes Wide
familiar.
Shut.
Some of those things I probably did see, but it's not sticking out.
Right.
Yeah.
Deep Impact came out at the same time as Armageddon. They were both movies that...
That's probably what did it.
It's generally, you saw one, but probably not both.
I've seen both.
Well, I
am fancy.
Deep Impact, pretty much the same plot as Armageddon,
essentially,
right?
Except they have different endings. One actually... They're both about drilling things... except one hits Earth, one doesn't.
Yeah. She was in a Moby music video.
Oh, good lord.
Yeah.
Interesting.
Maybe that might have been it, but it's still
Irregardless.
She was in Jungle to Jungle. That's what
she was actually. She was a baby.
And a single episode of News Radio.
Yeah, that might have been it.
Jungle to Jungle. She's a little girl.
Karen Kempster. Yep.
Yeah, she's a little girl. Yeah.
Okay.
And
she was a baby because we were too.
Yeah. and you're right. I mean, all these characters are just so bland.
They really are.
In general, and I mean, at least the original, the guys kind of had fun and sang around and kind of like they accepted the fact that they were all sperm donors and just kind of ran with it.
This movie in the original, it wasn't. There was no like matriarchy thing going on. Like
because
it was a patriarchy.
Because wasn't it like Lord Summer's Isle or something?
Yeah.
Lord Summer Isle.
Yeah, Lord Summer Isle was Christopher Lee. Yeah.
Yep. Which is fucking metal, by the way.
Yeah.
Crazy hair.
Makes a cameo in the sort of sequel.
Really?
Yeah, as the old gentleman. Because they don't want to call it a sequel.
Huh.
But he himself in interviews was extremely ambiguous of the actual sequel.
Wait a minute, now this is starting to sound familiar.
It's called The Wicker Tree.
Huh.
Yeah.
Oh.
Well, we're not exactly being subtle about
look, what can I say to you, okay? What can I say to you?
Alright, so, I mean, we could go back and kind of go through bit by bit, but I think we've kind of covered most of the movie because it's a bit disjointed here and there.
Yeah.
The movie is God. Did I enjoy it?
Okay, I don't regret having watched it.
I don't regret it.
I
don't regret it.
There's a few movies I fully regret watching, and I want my, the hour and a half of my life back. But this one's like, okay.
It wasn't bad. I guess.
After the fact, it's watchable. And, Nicolas Cage becomes increasingly more Nicolas Cageier as the movie goes. He starts
PTSD.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Yeah, was that it?
And he's being stalked by a truck.
No, it was not in the original, because the original, I remember that, because the first thing, the first point, it takes off like he's already on the island. He's already there, and then they fill it in later.
Well, that and in the 70s,
you notice that the woman, the little girl, and the other like fucking woman deputy are standing there at the very end, right?
Yeah.
Yep. His cop friend that showed up to bring him the letters.
His cop friend is there.
She's part of the cult.
The woman who was driving the car and the little girl, they're all there.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Now, here's the question. Do you think that's part of the delusion? Or do you think that they're actually there?
I think they're there.
Because how could they have planned for that truck, though?
Yeah.
Right?
They really couldn't have planned for that truck.
They couldn't have planned for that truck.
And then
that man can't even plan that many steps ahead.
Right.
Yeah.
And that truck even stalked him on a boat. That's an impressive story.
I think that
It was definitely a delusion or like a PTSD vision. But I'm just like, oof.
And in that particular part of the movie, he's at his highest stress level possible.
Yeah.
So are they there or are they not there?
You know,
because at that point, that's where my head was.
I'm going to once again.
Were they there or were they not there?
I'm going to once again say we're probably giving it more thought.
I realized this, but my brain went to weird places there because I was like.
So you mean the little girl and the woman in the car?
Yeah.
Were they there? I think they were.
Did they have enough time to get out of that car?
Yeah. I think they may have been there.
I think that the cop might have been there.
Yeah.
But I don't think that little girl and that woman were there.
Yeah.
Because I think the cop was fucking with him the whole time. And said that, that woman and that girl, there were no bodies in that car.
Yeah.
Oh, no, we don't know who they are.
Yeah, we may never know.
We may never know. I think that was an easy way to fuck with him.
Mm.
I think that woman and that girl standing there, I don't think they were there. Maybe the cop was. But I don't think the girl and the woman were there.
Oh, we're not talking about his partner. We're talking about the lady with the ponytail and the sweatshirt that shows up at his house.
I'm talking about the cop partner, the female cop.
Well, I remember two cops from the movie, and not counting the dudes at the end of the bar.
No, I'm talking about the female cop who came and visited him.
Okay, yeah.
I think she was there at the end of the movie.
She was, yeah.
I think she was there on the island. Absolutely.
Yeah.
But I think that the woman and the little girl who died in the car, I think they actually died in the car.
Well, she looked an awful lot like Rowan.
Yeah, she did.
Yeah, she looked an awful similar.
Yeah. I think there was enough that Dan and I kind of looked at each other the first time when the picture showed up, and I was like, is that the same little girl?
Yeah.
It gets kind of hard to tell because there's a lot of little girls with two braids in this movie that look similar.
But then I looked at the eyes, and I was like, no, the eyes are different. I was like, no, there's little characteristics that were different enough.
And I gotta have it has headcanon as well that the two old ladies who talk in unison are the two little girls from The Shining.
Well, that's not surprising.
They've always lived here, Danny. Hello. And it's just like...
They're so creepy.
Yeah.
It seems like introducing an unnecessary potential supernatural factor into what's a otherwise supposed to be grounded in reality kind of story.
I don't think yeah, maybe that is. I think that he's just having a delusion at the very end. Yeah. With the little girl and the woman from the accident. I think at that point, seeing the two of them there, I think that's just him having a delusion. Not the cop friend, but definitely the little girl and the woman.
Yeah, I thought that they somehow must have set all that up, and that would be really hard to believe.
Right, because the first thing he sees, especially in that particular scene at the very, very beginning, is right at the beginning, she throws the doll out the window. They would have had to time that so well to know his route. This is his everyday route.
Yeah,
so
right?
You're going to be passing him. Throw the doll out the window here. He's going to definitely see it. He's the type of guy who's going to pick up said doll and pull you over just to give it back to you. Because that's his personality. You know, that's the type of person he is. That's a lot of chance right there, because, you know, he could have just went...
It's not a great movie.
No. So. He could have just went, no, he's not going to do that. He could have just left it on the side. So I think that little girl and that woman, I think that was just all to chance. I think all of that was all to chance, because right after that, she delivers the letter. So I do believe that, you know, that was all to chance right there. It just happened to fit perfectly with their plot, because I think that letter was going to show up regardless.
But you do have a point, though, is that, you know, he is, he's, you know, the first time you see him, he's in a little diner slash convenience store area, and he's getting a book, like books on tape if everything's okay.
Well, he was looking at them first.
Well, no, he bought them.
Oh, did he buy them?
Because he mentions later that someone took them from his bag.
Yeah, he's like, wait, have you seen this? So, like, I think he was already unstable a little bit.
Well, I think he was looking at them. I don't think he bought them yet. I think he just looked at them.
Later in the movie.
I know later he has them, but that's also because he was having a breakdown at that point. At that point, this accident had already happened. He had looked at them. That's just a little bit of foreshadowing. We never saw him buy them. He looked at them and then he put them down. And then he has, like, this traumatic thing happen to him. And then he buys them, because at that point he needs them. So it had just occurred. I don't think he had bought them yet. I think at that point he needed them because, his life started to spiral. Because he had a traumatic thing happen to him. I probably would have done at least something close to that had I looked at them and I went, you know what? Right now I kind of need this. So you know what? Let me look at the back. I'll start listening to him because this might help a little bit.
Yeah.
He's not going to therapy. We know this part already. He's probably a little too proud for that, considering his personality on the island. You don't talk. He don't talk to nobody. Not really.
Right. Because he's the one that's right and no one else is.
Yeah, he doesn't talk with anybody. He tells people what
Exactly. So, considering his personality, He got those books after the fact, not beforehand. Because beforehand, he was the one, doing everything. Now he's kind of taking a step back. He needs some time off. He needs to start reflecting.
Yeah.
But then this happens, and suddenly he's right back into cop mode. He just is a cop mode with PTSD, which is not the greatest combination.
Which turns out to be more cops than you might think, too.
Yeah.
Because we've mentioned it before. As far as a job where people regularly try to shoot at you goes, the pay is terrible.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah. Yeah, absolutely. Like that's one of those jobs you don't get into for the money.
No.
By far.
And the
what
reason
about the pension? I heard the pension's good.
Yeah.
Well,
Depends on where you are.
One thing I've realized about police is there's two reasons why you get into police. You legitimately believe in trying to help other people, or two, you want power. And I hate to say it, the vast majority are number two.
Yeah. It depends. Yeah.
I made a pun without realizing it.
Yeah. It really is like there's a difference with that. I mean, maybe it's just where I grew up, because I grew up knowing a lot of police, and fortunately for me, knowing a lot of good ones.
And there are good cops out there. They're just so drastically just overshadowed and outnumbered by the bad ones. Yeah, it really does depend on who you're with and where you are. I mean, I've known a lot of good ones.
But then the internet's all like, they're all bad because they don't all stop the bad ones.
I mean, and to a certain extent, if you're going to be a good person, you try to stop the bad people from doing the bad things.
Right.
Like, if somebody had actually acted, George Floyd wouldn't have died, but we're not getting into that.
Yeah, and it's, true, yeah. But, I mean, I think it's also, with the internet, a lot of people will bad news travels faster because it sells more.
If it bleeds, it leads.
It also has a lot to do with
it is an
your own
evolutionary
personal
necessity.
Yeah.
Well, it also, I
True.
think it also has a lot to do with what you've been through as a person yourself.
Yep.
And I know that in my own personal experience,
Yeah.
I have never had a good run-in with a police officer.
Mm.
So, but that's also my personal experience. So, and I've been through a lot of fucking bullshit.
Yeah.
But that's also, again, my own personal experience.
Right.
I just remember that asshole that gave me a ticket and towed my car, even though the sign said that the construction was over.
Right.
Somebody needed to hit a quota.
Yeah, that was dumb as shit. Yeah.
Always take pictures.
Yeah.
Always take pictures.
I didn't have a camera. It was
Right.
What's
I
okay?
didn't have a smartphone until
So it
a
just
year or two ago.
it occurs to me right now that at the beginning of the movie, he's basically California Highway Patrol. He's Chips.
Yeah.
Yep.
oh my god.
What? Okay, why can't I remember the actor's name that was in Chips? He was also in Sea
Eric
Lion.
Estrada.
Thank you. My brain kept going
Yeah.
Emilio Estevez. I'm like, no, that's wrong.
Very wrong.
That is absolutely wrong.
Very, very wrong.
My brain's just like, no, you got the E's. This is the only thing you get. Eric Estrada, thank you. Yeah, my brain was just like, no, it's this guy. I'm like, no, it's fucking not.
What is that? Mighty Ducks, maybe, but no.
It's like, I don't know who it is, but it ain't him.
Oh, man.
Okay.
I think any of these movies or anything were trying to make any kind of point, because I feel like there was no real, like, character developed. Not even, like, a character doesn't have to change either, but a character can remain steadfast. But I just feel like the whole PTSD thing, and is he hallucinating? Is he not? Shit, I feel like that didn't really add up.
I think that's one of those where they're trying to keep it ambiguous in this, so you don't really know. Like the way Joss mentioned, we saw the cop and the people from the cars, like, later on. It's just like, they might not even actually be there, or these are other people, and he's seeing them as these people, or something. I don't even know.
I don't even, like I said, that is the highest stress he's been at in the entire movie while he's going through the PTSD, and he hasn't taken any of the anti-anxiety medication that he's on.
Yeah, not for a
And
while.
who the hell knows if they switched out any of his medication at that point?
Yeah, because he was in a pool for an entire night.
Not even just that, like, they went into his room and fucked with his stuff the minute he was there.
Yeah, he may have been straight up taking hallucinogens the whole time and not know.
Yeah, they went into his room.
Mead?
Yeah.
Not even necessarily with the mead. Like when we first see, it's that night when they're saying the day of tomorrow,
Whatever.
death and rebirth, or culty cult.
He had been walking around the island all day, but he dropped his stuff in his room. When he went back into his room, he noticed that his tapes were missing. Somebody stole his tapes. But he also left his medication in the room at that point, too.
So they very well could have swapped out his pills for something else at that point. He may have been straight up on hallucinogens the whole time and didn't know.
Why did they go through all this trouble?
For the harvest.
Yeah, for the harvest, because it was a
but
bad harvest.
Get to the island, hit him in the back of the head, and stick him in the Wicker Man.
Because he can't do that. He had to fulfill the whole...
It's a prophecy thing
He had
because
to be there of his own free will.
cults are weird, man.
Well, yeah, he got there.
He got there, but he also had to walk into the procession and do the procession and be there of his own will. He had to help Rowan and get to the Wicker Man of his own will, which he did.
Well, he didn't get to the Wicker Man of his own free will. They broke his very favorite legs and brought him there.
He got to the area of his own will. He
Oh,
stayed
God,
there
my legs!
He got there and stayed there to the day of his own will.
I just love his scream of, oh God, my legs. It's like, it's straight up a SpongeBob, my leg! moment.
One can argue that it's not really of his... He didn't really consent to that because he didn't know all the details.
Oh, he didn't consent to the sacrifice, but he consented to be there.
That's a loophole.
It is a loophole. Nobody said that they couldn't do loopholes.
Yeah, you're right. I mean, it's that part of it is really fucked up. Yep. The one, if you think about it too much, it's one of those that really sends you down a loophole. So, like, if the guy who flew him over, who he bribed for it, just to say, okay, I'll give you $200, and you fly me over, but just drop me off somewhere in a remote area, but they already knew about it, and they're like, oh, our delivery man, he'll get a talking to, he's going to end up dead. But the whole process has already been that this has been prophesized for so long.
Oh, was that at the end with his eyes stitched shut?
Yeah. Like, he had his eyes stitched shut, his mouth stitched shut. Presumably, he had died.
Yeah, see, he didn't need to have been killed.
Yeah, no,
he's like, you know what, fine, I won't come back for a few days. Well, do your thing.
Because he's the one who brought over the cop.
Yeah.
He needed to be killed.
It was all part of the plan.
But it was part of the plan. They wanted him there.
Yeah.
Right, but if the cop never shows back up back home, he gave the guy his name. He's open.
Yeah.
So if somebody shows up and says, "Hey, I'm looking for this police officer," oh, I flew him over to this island.
Oh, okay.
It's an open line.
Yeah.
If that that seaplane operator just disappears one day and they never find his shit.
Yeah.
And they go to this island and go, hey, have you seen him? No, he stopped making deliveries here. We don't know. They get rid of the plane. Who's going to know?
Right.
And they sunk the plane, and they sunk his plane in the shallows just off of the shore.
They can do something with that plane. Trust me. They can fucking bury it. How is anybody else going to know?
Of replacement pilots?
They can fucking bury that plane on that island. Who's going to know?
Yeah. Good point, yeah.
They can take it apart, bury it on the island, and nobody will be the wiser.
Yeah.
So, okay, but but he's the only one who goes in and out of the island, right?
He's the only one so far.
Okay, yeah. How did the other two get off the island then? Because he was dead before they left.
It's 2 miles away. They have a boat. He even said it. It's 2 miles away, and it would have been easier for him to fly over than to row over from where it is.
Or they kept the plane, figured out how to pilot, and just started doing it themselves.
Yeah, all you do is repaint it.
Yeah,
but they sunk the plane. They destroyed it. If you remember when he went down to the beach, the tail end of that plane was sticking out of the water. But like regardless,
you can still...
We're thinking way more about this than the creators ever did.
Yes. Regardless of anything.
So, I don't know if they said anything, if you know anything about the original book, but was it more like, which one was more accurate? I mean, did they have like the Full Harvest or the weird matriarchal bee cult?
From what I understand of it, the 73 one is way more accurate.
Yeah. I think so. And also, I want to throw in here as well, if anyone is a fan of South Park, they do a perfect parody of this.
That's awesome.
Where it's like, they talk about it like how a small town get obsessed with the paparazzi, and they sacrifice Britney Spears.
Oh, jeez.
And it's kind of a little odd, but I think that's like one of the first funny Randy Marsh plots. Like, we must do it for the harvest, Stan. The harvest. And then, like, 6 months later, they're all in the supermarket getting bread and veggies, and everything's fine. And then I think it was like Lady Gaga was on a closed circuit TV, and then they all go deadpan, and they go, the harvest. The harvest.
Jesus.
The harvest. And then it cuts to credits.
It's like, the harvest. I didn't hear no bell. The harvest.
Yeah. But I think that's like the best parody of this period.
I think that's the only parody I've ever seen.
Yeah, you may be right, but I mean, there might be some others or something. I know some people have done because I'm looking at the GIF right now, like the Not the Bees thing.
Yeah.
There's also there's clips on YouTube of Nicolas Cage running up in a bear suit and punching the woman, but set to classical music.
Oh, nice.
I want to know what the old way is to get rid of bee allergy. What's the old way?
We use the old way.
The old way.
Okay, I feel like one of those scenes in that YouTube compilation I sent you.
Yeah.
This little girl with a sore throat, and the lady puts a frog in her mouth.
Yeah. Okay.
And then the frog out.
Yeah, I knew about that sort of stuff from the original because they mentioned that in the wiki. About some of the old
Man.
pagan ways that they used to do things, like frogs in the mouth and.
So I feel like the bees cure thing was just like a poorly realized take on that.
Yeah, because they couldn't explain what the old way was. Because I'm like, what the fuck does that mean? I'm like,
rub poop in it or something.
Right, no. Just shove the fucking EpiPen in the side of his thigh. That's what that is.
It's the old ways. Well, what's the old ways? Just shut up. We use the EpiPen. Just be quiet.
Right? I was like, what the fuck is the old way? Because I'm looking at the bee stings on his arm, and I'm like, he got stung 3 times? That motherfucker's dead.
What doesn't help is that the movie is that apparently the old way worked.
Apparently. I kept calling him Thomas J. as he was running through the honeycomb. And if you don't understand what that joke is, it's fine. Have you ever seen the movie My Girl?
All right, I had a moment. I'm like, I don't know what that joke is. Okay, no, I do. I recognize the name, but I couldn't remember where.
Yeah, I kept calling him Thomas J at that point. Because I'm like, oh, you're going to die. He needs his glasses.
He needs his glasses.
Can't see without his glasses. Yeah, I'm that old.
He gave him the damn shoe.
Okay,
that's a different movie.
I don't want to talk about these anymore.
All right. I mean, we've pretty much covered the movie.
I think
on that one. It's like, I think this one might be a little bit of a shorter episode because
there's not much more to talk about.
There's not a whole lot to talk about in this movie. I mean, Nicolas Cage improves it by being in it, but
it improves the movie because I didn't give a shit about his character at all.
Oh, his character sucks, but he improves the movie because he, like I said, he gets cagier as the movie goes, and he starts yelling more, and things get excessive. And I'm sorry, I just think, oh god, my legs.
That's funny.
That is, thank you.
We didn't get to see it.
It's like, thank you, exposition.
My eyes.
We didn't get
my eyes in during what was the Stephen King movie?
Misery?
Yeah, that one.
With the ankle thing? Yeah, I could. Okay. Yeah. I'm not good with foot trauma. We've brought this up before. And I'm glad we didn't see him get his legs crushed. And that scene in Misery really gets to me. And we're going to date this a little bit. If you guys have seen the first few episodes of Stranger Things, the new season that's out, it's like the third and
fourth episode.
The third or fourth episode, there is some foot things that happen that I cannot look at.
Yeah, I can't handle it.
I say nothing else beyond that because no spoilers. No spoilers, or it gets the hose again. So. All right, so yeah.
I do gotta say, I still don't know why they decided to make it a weird bee-based matriarchy thing, because I don't know. Every time I see some kind of horror matriarchy fictional society, I just feel like it's refreshing. It doesn't matter how evil they are. It's just not scary. It's refreshing.
It is refreshing. I was actually... The truth of the matter is, at the end of the movie, I didn't feel bad for him. I was actually, okay with the fact that he died. And I was like, alright, so this is how this is ending. And he's, screaming about murder, and I was like, whatever.
I'm okay with it being a bad ending. In scare quotes. I'm okay with that.
I didn't want a good ending for him. I'm such a terrible person.
He's a jerk. He comes to the island. He is an asshole. He gets confronted by weird shit, continues to be an asshole, and then dies. It's like, okay.
People were even more bigger assholes to him. So they do have it coming when they attack him and he punches them, but at the same time, something about him punching chicks in the face doesn't sit right.
And and you know, it shouldn't. I don't condone violence to anyone in general, but
no,
it's like
unless they did something to him first.
Mm-hmm.
Well, like
if
the face lunge at him in front of the wall of photos.
Okay, him kung fu fighting Lily Sobieski, that makes sense because she attacked him.
She attacked him first, okay?
Yeah.
I understood that one. She jumped on him.
And then he wants to save the little girl.
He just cold cocks the woman. Yeah.
Yeah, no,
the
that
person who has her captive.
right.
You know?
And I understood
Just
that
like
one.
in the original. Except the original was a dude, so it was
Yeah.
worse.
Right. No, I understood those two scenes fine.
Yeah.
But cold cocking Sister Beach, that unnecessary.
I think that was just taking out aggression on her. That's all.
Well,
that
yeah.
was. I mean, I understood that too a little bit, but I was like, damn.
Well, he cold cock her to get the girl and get out of there?
No, he cold cocked Sister Beach to steal her bear costume.
Oh, yeah, right, I'm sorry. No, it was the other girl, though, when he's in the bear costume.
Yeah, no, her.
The girl to get out.
To get to the girl, which you can almost... I mean, again, I don't condone violence against anybody, but if someone attacks you, you attack them right back. It doesn't, if someone punches you, defend yourself. It doesn't matter who it was, defend yourself. But
I don't know. I just kept looking for a point to the change that I found it distracting.
The only
are they trying to say something about?
Well,
I don't know. Like, for example, if they were to go at the angle, like, no matter who's in charge, whether it's a patriarchy or matriarchy, people are going to be assholes because it's human nature, no matter what. You know, if there was something like that,
I don't know.
I mean, humans do suck.
If there was nothing like that, it just seemed like
maybe
I don't know.
It didn't. Maybe they were trying to do the whole. It doesn't really matter that the whole. What's the line I want? The whole.
Humans are like all over.
Yeah, maybe.
Are they film?
I don't know. Usually, people suck. Doesn't matter what gender you are.
Yeah, humans in general are garbage. This has been a PSA from Movie Theater Time Machine. People are garbage.
Doesn't matter where you are.
I don't know. I just feel like it seemed like it maybe was gonna make a point, but it never got around.
It never really got that far. And they didn't really focus so much on the fact that it was. They only started to focus on the fact that it was like a matriarchal society at the very, very end, and they started to focus on that when it was like the whole bee.
And they started talking about the drones
because of the whole queen and drone thing.
Yeah. Because bees are matriarchal. There's a queen. Most of the bees that are in the actual hive are female. And, like, the only male bees are there almost exclusively for the purpose of continuing on the species.
Yeah, pollination,
Yeah.
They're not Jerry Seinfeld.
No.
No.
Oh God! Now I want to see a cursed image of all those little the bees that chase them around. They're all the little Jerry Seinfeld bees, and they're asking him what the deal is.
Yes.
That's what doesn't make sense about cartoon movies about bugs. They don't get that right.
No. All right. So yeah, I think that about covers it for the movies. So we'll do a quick little break. We'll come back with some fantasy casting and see if we can't improve this movie with some weird additions. So yeah, gonna do a quick pause. We'll be right back.
Hey everybody, thanks so much for listening.
Movie Theater Time Machine is a part of the 4041 Media Group with podcasts like Psych Your Crime and Free Your Geek, which you can check out at 4041media.com. That's all squished together one word, and the numbers are written as numbers.
Now it's time to tell us what you think. If you got an opinion or wanted to know what's coming up next,
find us on Facebook, Twitter, and Instagram by searching for Movie Theater Time Machine.
Now our podcast will always be free.
Free?
To subscribe and share.
But if you'd like to help us build a bigger, better podcast, not to mention our confidence, you can find merchandise designed by me, Kaz, at Zazzle. Or check out the Kaz Foxen's Animal Shop at Zazzle for cute animal gifts and pet supplies.
Thanks so much, and back to the show.
And we're back. All right, so fantasy casting. Do we have?
I have seriously struggled with this, but the only thing I could think of, like, that came into my mind when I was driving over here, was for Sister Beach.
Uh-huh.
Because she, some of you might not know the name Conchita Ferrell.
I do not.
She was the housekeeper in 2.5 Men.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right.
And played Berta, and
and she's also got big misery energy.
Yes.
Yes, she does.
Yeah, she's got that. She could do that, but at least you needed Sister Beach to have some sarcasm.
Fuck yeah.
Or at least some form of personality.
Which is unfortunate because that actress does.
Yeah, she's a fantastic actor.
Great actress.
Yeah, and so can you please roll that?
Okay, let's see what we get. Ooh, a 5.
Ah, shit.
Oh no.
Let's shake the dice tray, see if that changes anything. Oh, hey, look, it's a 29. Oh,
all
look at
right,
that.
so
Weird.
the thing is we kind of touched base on points on this, but there's the line where, the old movie and the new movie, it's like the island has some personality in the old movie, and now everybody's on Quaaludes in this one.
Yeah.
Yes.
And, the line where he walks in and you're like, I suppose we have to give you a meal since you're here. Deliver that with sarcasm a little bit, where it's like, I suppose that you're here, go ahead, I'll make you food. That's my job.
Guess that's my job.
There's a room up there. Stay here. Stay here or we're at it, and we're gonna have the fantasy of death. We're gonna have the festival of death and birth later. Guess what's gonna happen?
Right.
Yeah.
Guess what happens there?
Well, that would be too on the nose.
Do you like your meat well done?
It's got a bit of a char on it.
Why is it burned? Why is it burned? Why is it burned?
Why is it burned?
Yeah.
Oh, God.
Just violently
shaking a doll at this woman.
Out of anybody who got punched in this movie...
Oh, is it Robert the Doll?
Oh, God.
No, God, no. Shit.
I think I found my fantasy casting.
Robert can stay over there. He can stay in fucking Florida where he lives, in his, temperature-controlled room. Robert can stay over there.
You have to ask his permission to take a picture.
Yes, Robert can stay in Florida where he lives. Okay?
Yeah,
he can stay down there.
Is it Florida or is it the Keys?
It's still Florida.
Yeah.
It doesn't matter.
If you don't know,
stay there.
If you don't know what we're talking about, listeners, Google Robert the Doll.
Don't do it.
Do it.
The spooky, haunted, creepy-looking doll.
Creepy, haunted doll, Robert the Doll.
Yeah.
There's also Annabelle, which is a similar kind of situation.
Well, Annabelle is also a movie, but Annabelle is also
Annabelle the doll is real.
Yes, I know Annabelle the doll is real.
The movie is based on the doll.
She looks like a Raggedy Ann doll.
Mm-hmm.
And yeah, I know. Thank you. I don't like dolls.
I don't like mannequins.
I don't like them at all, actually. Really don't. Not really a big fan of them.
Good action figure.
Just don't. There was one... Okay, I need to say this because she annoyed the fuck out of me in this movie, and I really kind of... Out of all the characters who did not get punched, there was one character I wanted to get punched, and she didn't.
Was it Willow?
Fucking Sister Rose.
Yeah.
I wanted Sister Rose to get punched in the face.
The school teacher?
Yes.
He was smug.
I don't know, I kind of liked her. She had that whole kind of and what the fuck are you going to do about it?
I know, but she was too condescending for me. I wanted her to get punched in the face. Even if it wasn't from, Nicolas Cage, I kind of wanted Willow to punch her in the face. I just wanted someone to punch her in the face.
Everybody punch everybody.
Yeah. It could have been a ballroom blitz. It would have been fine.
All right, so...
What was that thing I said? Oh, what if the bees from Bee Movie were in it? But it's been a long time since I've seen Bee Movie, so I have nothing to really say about it.
I mean, they'd all be doing the same thing. I think it was...
I have never seen Bee Movie, so I don't know what that is.
The bees could talk to humans.
The bees could talk to
have a crush on the human.
Yeah, but he was the only one who did that because all the other bees were just happy with their lot, right? So they would just be highly
until
animated.
they started suing.
Is this like Howard? Wait, what?
The bees in Bee Movie, the bees sued the humans for taking their honey.
What?
Yeah, the bees get litigious. It's New York. What do you want?
Oh, well, okay.
I don't know. I don't remember how it ends.
Not
I
in
guess
New
they were
York.
tired of being smoked in their hives to be knocked out.
Okay.
Yeah. I could find you. The movie on YouTube, but it's like
it's not worth it.
But it'd be the movie. But every time they say the word "bee," it gets like 2% faster.
Yeah.
So it just by the end of it, it's just like. Blurp.
Unless it's like one of those where they try to make it longer and longer until it's like 10 hours.
And yeah, every time they say the word "bee," it slows down. So they're just like, and then
They add a nice speech to it.
How?
That was a thing a while ago. I don't know, man. But I suppose it would be a very different movie if the bees were one of the bees was communicating, like with the bees,
Right.
and help it with the police investigation of the bees in this shit.
All right, let's see. 26. All right, so that'll work out. Let's see.
Will the bees be
What's wrong
helpful?
with their harvest?
Well, the bees might be helpful because their last harvest was so bad, and they want to fix it. So they might be, but they might be helpful to the cultists.
But I think in Bee Movie it was because something to do with a shortage of flowers or something.
Oh, like in the real world, how we're killing off all the flowers and all the bees are going with them.
I think in the Bee Movie...
Then there was like a parade float.
Yeah. I think in the Bee Movie, like, the Jerry Seinfeld bee was not, like, didn't want to be a worker bee any longer. He kind of wanted to do more, and then he started figuring out that humans were profiting off the honey.
And so he became a lawyer or something.
And then started to have a relationship with a human.
The flower lady.
Uh-huh.
Yeah, and it gets really weird.
Like those reaction gifs that I send you sometimes of the guy turning and going, huh?
Yeah.
That's from Bee Movie. Yeah.
I have another idea.
Yeah.
I want to cram Dr. Bees.
Yeah.
Dr. Bees. All right.
He solves all his problems by releasing bees. Like, here's a picnic. I have a briefcase full of fucking bees. It's hilarious.
So we can. All right. So Dr. Bees in the role of Lord / Sister Summer Isle.
Yeah.
I guess it'd be funny if he was.
That's 32.
Dr. Bees.
So that came up as a
I'm resolving this problem with a shitload of bees.
So, and I do have an idea for a change. I've been racking my brain trying to figure out where to put patron saint of 4041 Media.
Yeah, we haven't done that in a
Christopher
while.
Walken.
He's Rowan.
It's just like it's just him in a wig. Yeah, okay. But I thought,
Mommy, I did good.
yeah, but you know, Joss mentioned earlier the Robert the Doll thing. Like, what if the doll he finds in the grave is actually Robert the Doll? And because he's shaking him around, Robert gets angry, and the movie takes a dramatic left turn, and now everybody is trying to work together to fight Robert. But they all die.
But at least they learned the power of teamwork.
I would watch that movie. Let's see. Holy shit, that's a 36. I think the dice want that one.
Better than what happens in this movie.
Yeah.
What if the dice keep coming up low, though? Would we have to have a sacrifice for them?
Sometimes there is. Sometimes you do have to take your evil cursed dice. You have to take them out into the woods and throw them into a sacrificial campfire. Sometimes that happens.
That's true.
There's been more than a couple D20s that have died in the fire pit at the campground that my parents have. So.
Wouldn't the plastic make weird vapors?
If it's just a couple of D20s, it's not going to be anything terrible. We've also sacrificed like green army men on the grill above the fire pit, so you know I've inhaled a lot of vapor.
Imagine that smells weird.
It does smell weird, and I've probably inhaled quite a bit of plastic vapor in my life. It explains a few things. It really does. All right. Do we have any other ideas for a fantasy casting?
No, I really don't have much more because, like I said before, if you watch the original and then watch this version of it, it makes it even funnier and it turns it into a comedy.
It definitely gets goofier.
Yeah, it just. I'm looking forward to the next movie, to be honest.
Yes, we're going full Cage. Insanity in our next episode.
Breaking the machine.
We're breaking it a little bit more than we did today because this was 2006. Our next movie is going to be ending my birthday month, Nicolas Cage month. We're going to be ending it with the cinematic tour de force ?
I'm gonna.
Is it a turd?
Let me back up here. Okay.
The tour de force of Ghost Rider. He's knocking at the door! Here he comes, he's knocking at the door!
Now I'm wondering, oh god, what if he was Walter White?
Oh, Christ.
That would be...
What was it?
What if he was Walter White?
Who's knocking? Whatever that line is.
Yeah.
I'm the one who knocks?
Yeah, that's it.
I did a Walter White cosplay at one point. I gotta find the pictures of it.
I did too before I knew what Walter White was.
No, I purposely did it. I had a big Ziploc bag full of blue rock candy.
Yeah. That's awesome.
Yep.
Alrighty, so...
Get out of there.
Oop. Cats are being cats.
Yeah.
Alright. So, with that, we're going to close out for this week. We'll be back next week, as I said, with Ghost Rider. So, until then, be good, take care of yourselves, but don't be too good.
Oh, man.
The bees.